Okay, so now let's talk about creating lists in Python. If you remember our session on data types in Python, we spoke about lists, tuples, and dictionaries. A quick recap about what we spoke about lists. We spoke that lists are created using rectangular brackets, the elements are separated by a comma, lists are mutable, elements within them can be changed, and in the simplest way, okay, a list can be created like this. So let's go to our Python and see how to create a list in the simplest way possible. Okay. So I'm creating a stock list. Okay. Let me just write the session name out here. And 1 minute. And in this stock list, I'll be entering the stock codes of a few stocks. So this is Reliance. This is Adani Enterprises. This is L&T. Okay. Now since I'm entering a string within a list, I need to add quotes before every string. Okay. And M&M Limited. Okay, so these are three lists. Okay. And this is the simplest way that a list can be created by rectangular brackets and then the value is separated by a comma. Right? Now if I print this, it'll get printed out, and if I print the type of it, you'll come to know that this is a list. There we go. So now I'm running this program. Before that, I'll have to save it. So I will save it in the relevant folder. And then as I run it, I get this output. The list is printed out here. And then the type is a list, an object of a class called list. Okay. So list is a built-in Python data type. Now, there is another way that you can create a list also. Okay. So we have covered this earlier, that we can create a list by using the split function. So let's say I have a string, okay, string 1, and the string is Reliance. Okay. Now I will create a list. List 1 is equal to string 1 dot split. Okay, if I leave it blank, it will just split it normally. Okay, let's do this, and then let's do print list 1. Let's see the output. So Reliance gets entered into a list. Okay, now let me put another string. Okay, string 2, okay, is equal to Reliance, Maruti, L&T, M&M, Adani, Tata Chemicals, Tata Global. Okay, so I've created this string 2. It's just a few stock codes separated by a spacebar. Now what I have to do, list 2 is equal to string 2 dot split. Now let's see what output I get. Oh, sorry. I'll do string 2 dot split and I will not add anything here. Okay. Now if I do print list 2, it should give me the value equal to sign here. There we go. So there you go. Reliance, Maruti, L&T. So wherever there's a new word, it inserts a comma and it makes it into a list. Okay, and these are my list components. All these words, they become my list component. Now sometimes I will have a string, means I want to add company names. Okay, so string 3 is Tata Motors Limited and Maruti Suzuki Limited, Mahindra and Mahindra Limited, and TVS Motors Limited. Okay, I'm just adding these. There are a few more companies. Okay, so this is string 3. Now what I'll do, I'll make list 3, okay, is equal to string 3 dot split. And if I do print list 3, you see what output I get. Okay, I'm getting Tata Motors Limited, Maruti Suzuki Limited. All these are different, all these different words are different parts or different elements of the list. I don't want that. Why? Because Tata Motors Limited is one value, Maruti Suzuki Limited is one company, Mahindra and Mahindra Limited one company. So I don't want them to be split in this fashion. I want this string to be split at every comma that is there inside. So what I'll do string 3 dot split, okay, in quotes, comma, okay, so split on every comma. Now when I do this output, I get Tata Motors Limited as one element, Maruti Suzuki Limited as the other element, Mahindra Mahindra Limited as the other element, TVS Motors Limited as the fourth element. So this is the other way to create a list. Okay. Now let's learn further. Okay. A list need not have only one data type. Okay. So we can have a stocks and prices list. Okay, so this stocks and prices list, let me put stock name, comma, stock price. Another stock code, comma, stock price. Okay, and stock price, I need not put it in quotes. Why? Because it's an integer. Okay. Now, one minute. Okay, continuing the list, Maruti and its price around 5,000, and what else? M&M price around 786, and that's it. This should be sufficient. If I were to print this list, I will be able to print it. Now there is something called length of a list. Okay, for that I have to use the length function. So I have to print the length of this stocks and prices list. I'll just copy the name. Now I've created a very long name, so copying it. So here I'm doing print brackets, len brackets, and then the list name. Okay, what this will do is, this is gonna print the stocks and pricing list. Okay, the length of the list, that is 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 elements are there in the list. So 8. You can see out here. There's 8. Right? So that is length of a list. Now let's move on to indexing and slicing of a list. Okay. So just like string, the comma separated elements of a list, they can be obtained in that same fashion. So first stock, okay, is equal to stocks and price list 0. Okay. Similarly, first stock price is equal to stocks and price list, rectangular brackets 1. Okay. Now I can print this out using placeholders. So we've done this in the earlier sessions. So we are doing this again. Okay. So what I have to do is print the first stock in the list is this, and its price is this. Now I close the quotes, then I do dot format, then I do one sec, then I do dot format for stock, first underscore stock, comma, first underscore stock underscore price. Oh, instead of comma, I put a dot here, so I'll put a comma here, and we are good to go. So now when I run this output, okay, it is going to print. Okay, I think the closing bracket is left. There we go. Now we are good. Okay, so now if I run this, the first stock in the list is Reliance. Its price is 925. So this is how we print out a stock using stakeholders. Okay. No, sorry, using placeholders. I said stakeholders. Okay, okay. So now, if I want to print out the third stock, okay, so third stock is equal to stocks and price list. Now, third stock is Maruti. Okay, now it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth component. But in a list, the indexing starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I do list 4, it's going to give me the stock name. And if I do third stock price, it's going to give me, now I need the sixth element. So I'll put the fifth index here. So it's going to give me the third stock price, right? So now if I want to print this out, what I have to do is I have to make a slight couple of changes in this statement here. Print the third stock in the list is this, its price is this, and then I have to just call it the third stock and the third stock price. So if I print this out, I'm gonna get the third stock is Maruti and his price is 5,000. So this is how you typically go about indexing a list. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to get to the second and fifth elements of a list. Okay. Get the second to fifth element. Okay. So if I want to print that, okay, let me just print also same thing. Okay. So if I want to print these elements of this same list that is there, the stocks and prices list. Okay, the second element is 925. Okay. The fifth element is Maruti. So I want to print 925, LNT, 950, Maruti. I want to print these four things out as an output for some exercise that I'm doing. So how do I do this? Okay, now that is called as slicing of a list. So what I'll do is I'll do slice 1 is equal to, or I can just straight away put in a print. Okay, the list name is stock and prices list. Okay, now I'll give it an index. I want the second element of the list. Okay, so 0 and 1. Okay, so that's 1. I want the fifth element of the list. So that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is Maruti. So instead of putting 4 here, what I have to do is I have to put 5 here. Why? Because when you are slicing a list, okay, don't forget this. When slicing a list, start with the required element and end with the next element index. Okay, you start with the index of required element and you end with the index of the next element index, that is next to what is required. So we require 925 to Maruti. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maruti is the last index element that we require, and that's why that index is 4. So we are taking 5. Now if I do print this, it will give the desired output as we require. Okay. I have again made a name error or something. Let me see. Yeah, it's stocks and prices list. There we go. So I think we are good to go now. If I print this out, okay, it's gonna give me the desired output, that is 925, LNT, 950 and Maruti there. On your right hand side in the output section, you can see that. Okay, so this is how you slice a list. Okay. So now, the next thing what I want to do is print only the stock names. Okay. Okay, where have I been typing this? Okay, here. Let me just type it. Print only the stock names. Okay, from this stocks and prices list. So there's every alternate is a price and every alternate is a name. Okay, this is our list. Just to refresh your memory, this is our list. I want to print only the stock names. Okay. Now, how do we do this? This we do exactly like we did it in the list. Okay. So, what you have to do is you have to print alternate values, right? So, we've done this in strings. You do it in a similar fashion. Okay. What you have to do is print. Okay. This is the name of our list. Rectangular brackets. I want to start with Reliance, then go on to LNT, then Maruti, and then M&M. So I'm going to start from 0, okay, or I can leave it blank, however you want it. Okay, I want to go till the end, so I'll leave that blank too, and I want to go till the I want to jump every 2 spaces, so I'm going to put 2 here. Okay, so I can do either blank, blank, and 2 with colons in the middle. Okay, this is going to give me the stock names. Okay, there you go. Reliance, LNT, Maruti, M&M right here. Right? Okay, now if I want to print only stock prices. Okay, there is a slight change in this code that we need to run. So now what is the slight change that we need to do in this code? Okay, so we need to print every alternate value, so this 2 remains. Okay, but we don't have to start from 0. We want to start from 925. We want to start from 1. So because of that, we start from 1, we go till the end, that's why we leave it blank out here, and then you type 2 out here, and you're going to print only stock prices. So there you go in the output section, 925, 950, 5000, 786. So this is our print only stock prices section. Okay, so this was an introduction to lists. Let's continue lists in our next video, where we'll talk about operators that you can apply on lists, concatenating to lists, and a few other things that you can do with lists. So see you guys in the next video.